Two more characters that I'm maniacal about and that I obsessively need to compare: Julius Caesar and Tywin Lannister. Who is better of these two? Let's first check the similarities. Both are extremely intelligent and ambitious. Both are ruthless. Both are monumentally successful in terms of achievements. Both have stories that are insanely interesting, and both die in weird ways. Now, differences. We have to start right off the bat by saying that I am not comparing Tywin Lannister to the actual historical Julius Caesar because that would be insane and pointless. Tywin automatically loses because he is fictional, and also the history of the actual Caesar is twice as insane as that of Tywin Lannister, the fantasy character, and even more insane than that of Caesar as portrayed in HBO's Rome, which is actually the version of Caesar that we're going to be using for the purposes of this quick comparison. And while we can say that HBO Caesar's story is supposed to be the same as the historical actuality, no, it just doesn't work for me. And I could never perceive HBO Caesar as the actual Caesar. I explained this in a previous video of mine, but Kieran Hines' portrayal of Caesar, while I think he is great in the role, is not what the real Caesar was like, at least in my opinion, neither visually nor in terms of character. So now that we've specified that this is not about the historical Julius Caesar, what are the differences between Tywin Lannister and HBO Caesar? Tywin Lannister is imposing, both the book version and the TV version, while to me, HBO Caesar is not imposing at all, except for maybe a couple of scenes where he uses a bit of violence. Tywin Lannister slash Charles Dance, the actor who portrayed him, he made me freeze up and watch carefully every single scene that he was in, listening intently to his every line and watching out for his facial expressions. That is how much his portrayal affected me. During his scenes, I kind of felt like I was Tyrion and he was about to start humiliating me. HBO Caesar was not only not imposing to me, but he also gives off the vibe of the quote unquote cool guy. I had my mom watch HBO's Rome as well, and she's generally not familiar with history, so her reaction was unbiased. And when she finished the first season of Rome and got to Caesar's death scene, she was like, oh, so Caesar was actually a good guy? Which, just fuck no. He was a genocidal megalomaniac, and HBO's Rome made my mom and all the people like her think that he was some kind of an angel. More differences. Tywin Lannister is interesting as hell, especially in the show. Every single dialogue of his, especially with the Queen of Thorns, was sheer brilliance and a masterpiece to watch. I rerun his scenes instead of music. That's how much I love his conversations. HBO Caesar, most of the time, to me, he sounded boring, speaking in a low, calm voice, which I guess was supposed to sound imposing, but it just made me sleepy. The scenes where his delivery was supposed to be scary, I was barely scared at all. While watching Tywin Lannister shit on Tyrion or smack down Cersei, my pants were trembling every time. One more difference, this time in favor of HBO's Caesar, comparing their death scenes. Tywin died in a pretty stupid manner, in my opinion, which I guess was for the purposes of irony, but even so, I did not like it. HBO Caesar's death, an amazing scene. Simply amazing. This is the one thing about HBO Caesar that felt right for me. All other Caesar death scenes I'd seen across movies were lame as crap and ridden with melodrama. And there was no melodrama whatsoever with the death of the real Caesar. He was cut up like a pig. Sheer violence, gore, and terror. And that is exactly what the scene in HBO's Rome portrayed. And this makes 2 points for Tywin Lannister, 1 point for HBO Caesar, which means if I had to pick my favorite, it would absolutely be Tywin.